Sometimes there are projects where everything goes right. You pick the perfect pattern, the perfect yarn, and the knitting gods are smiling on you. For me, this sweater, which I made as a Christmas present for my sister, was exactly that. It is also the first time I have ever knit with unspun yarn. It's the most fragile yarn I've ever worked with, but stay tuned to find out why I fell in love with it anyway. This is unspun yarn. This is it's called Manchelopis. Oh my god, this is so soft. I didn't expect it to be so soft. I only know like Letlopi, like the spun variant that you can also get the unspun variant Pletulopi of, but that's really scratchy, and this is really, really soft. I'm trying to keep my cat away from it. You can have a little sniff, you just can't eat it. This is so pretty. I'm really happy about this. I didn't expect that. And I think it will come apart quite easy, but that's also what it's known for. So I'll have to work out how to knit with it. It's a bit more resilient than I thought it would be from just kind of resting it on my fingers. But this is still going to be an exercise in patience. And honestly, I could probably do with that. So I got 2 in this color, I think. Oh no, I've got 3 in this color and then 2 in this one, and I think this is gonna be color work and it's gonna be amazing, and I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to make stuff with it. It's so soft. I didn't expect it to be so soft, and now I'm just really, really happy about it. So that's exciting news, and some sweaters incoming, I guess. I'm nervous about this, because people say this can be a nightmare to cast on with, and I've never made anything with this. So let's see how that goes. 64 stitches, so don't want to have to redo that. Yeah, should be more than enough. So let's see, I'm nervous. I don't know, I kind of feel like my loose gauge might be a strength for once. Okay, now something ripped. I ripped it after. Oh. Okay. I sat on the yarn. That's probably not really recommendable, but let me show you how. Doing the short rows right now for the unspun yarn sweater. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it would rip constantly, but so far, knocking on wood, so far so good. Okay, this is gonna be perfect because it fits me just so. So she is a size smaller than me, so it will fit her perfectly. And I am in love with how the knitting comes out in this yarn. It's just so beautiful. It looks so rustic and cozy, but it's also super soft. So yeah, so far so good. I am on the last sleeve ribbing and binding off this morning. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to immediately put it to soak and then block it so I know how this yarn behaves when it gets wet. Okay, I've bound off the sleeves and now I'm duplicate stitching the tips of these fir trees here. And I hope they will work with this yarn. But yeah, sleeves are a tiny bit short on me, so they should be good for my little sister, I hope. But sleeve length is always such a thing. I just hope I got it right. But I mean, otherwise I can fix it. So let's hope that this yarn holds up to duplicate stitching, which it probably won't, but I'll do my best. It's currently 1 degree Celsius up here in the mountains, so it's really, really, really cold, and I'm perfectly fine in this jumper. I don't need a jacket. I brought a jacket because I'm not gonna hike back to the car in this because I don't want to get it sweaty or anything, but I could, which is great because that means it's really fulfilling its purpose, which is to be a really durable sweater for outdoor when it's cold, because it's just like a little cocoon and it's perfect. Windy, cold, but not in the sweater. Sweater's perfect. But here, ooh. Alright, I don't have super duper much time today because, as you can see, even though you're watching this probably quite a bit after Christmas, for me it is still Christmas, and I'm actually heading up to visit my family in about half an hour or something like that, because we do presents on Christmas Eve in Germany, and it is Christmas Eve. So before I wrap this, I wanted to show you in a normal podcast setting as well. Here we have it. This is my sweater that I made, and I'm so happy with this. I feel like this is potentially, this and the blue sweater probably are the ones that I'm most happy with this year. And it came out so pretty. It came out so nice. It looks so gorgeous. I don't know what to say. So let's talk about the construction a little bit and about the yarn, because I did record quite a few little bits earlier while making this, but I don't want to double it up, so I might chop this up a bit if I'm repeating myself, because I don't want to waste your time, but I think I did not really go into depth for the construction and everything. So this is again the step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller, I think, not Mills, but by Florence Miller, as a base. And because the yarn was a little bit thicker than what she's using, I made a size smaller, because I thought, okay, this is probably going to come out fine then. I wanted it to be a bit oversized anyway, so I knew that that would work. And you can see that this is just a raglan sweater, a simple raglan sweater. I have talked about this pattern so much on this podcast before because I truly love it. It's such a great free pattern, and I recommend it to people who knit their first sweater because it's really in depth and it's really clear. And you just knit it top down, and then at the bottom I have done color work. And the eagle-eyed Reverie users will probably recognize the picture from the color work, because this is the very famous Alaska motif. There's an Alaska hat pattern and there is an Alaska sweater pattern. I will link both of them below as well. But I actually did not use the sweater pattern to make the sweater, because the yarn gauge was so different from what I would achieve with this yarn that I thought I would just get frustrated and it wouldn't work. So what I did is I used the colorwork image from the hat pattern, because I had made that before, so I purchased it and I already owned it. And I would then just make sure that the body count of the stitches around the body from here would be divisible by, I think it's 24 or 36, because that's the number of stitches in the colorwork repeat. So when I was doing my raglan increases and then the splitting for the sleeves, I just made sure that the stitches I would have left over would be divisible by that number. That worked out beautifully. And now I have this gorgeous sweater to give to my little sister, and I think she will like it too. So the yarn I used is Manchelopis. This is unspun yarn, so it rips really easy. It is something that you need to get used to a little bit when you're doing it for the first time, but I said I found it quite easy because it rips super easy, but it's also really easy to just rejoin it, because you just put it in your hands and rub it and then it joins back up. So what I found a little bit difficult, and I think that's just a kind of trademark of working with these natural fibers that are unspun, is that this darker grey was way easier to rip than the white. On the white I could put quite a bit of tension, and the darker one, it would just come apart really, really easily, which was already hard enough, but then doing that in the color work section was really frustrating because you want to have an even tension between the colors, and that was not possible. I think probably the different colors, so these are, I think, undyed, both gray tones, and it's just different colored sheep that make them up. So maybe the ones that make the darker gray have a bit of a shorter length of fiber or something like that that makes it easier to rip. I'm not sure, but that I found was the hardest bit of it. But still, like, nothing to really complain about much. It was still super fun to knit with it. It's so soft, it's not scratchy, and I hope my sister will like this, because the idea was to make a sweater that she can wear outdoors, because she's outdoors quite a lot, that's really resilient, a workhorse sweater basically. I did already wash this because I wanted to block this, and everyone said the yarn would bloom a lot. I didn't actually find that that was super true. It bloomed a little bit, but not as much as I thought it would. So if I'd known that, and this is again, if I'd swatched, I would have known. If I'd washed the swatch, then I would maybe have used another needle size smaller, just because you can see through a tiny bit if you put some pressure. But then on the other hand, this is perfectly insulating as is, and it might have gotten a little bit too hot if I'd done this. So here's my kind of half self-drafted sweater, where I just plucked different sweater patterns together into this, and we will see how my sister reacts later. So thank you so much for following along on this journey. I hope you found it interesting, and I hope it inspires you a little bit to go wild with like drafting your things and just creating things, trying stuff out. It's actually not true for this yarn, but for basically any other yarn, you can just frock it if it doesn't work out, and you can just make something else with it. So don't let anything, any notions limit you in what you want to do, and have fun. There we go. See you soon. Bye.